Now then, people, it's Joe or Leeds TV, and it's that time again. It's Monday Night Football. Done seen 2 minutes ago. I was talking to you yesterday after a great performance away at Wigan. Top of the table, got to be happy with that. I hope you've enjoyed work and all that jazz, because I know I have, working with a lot of Borough fans. It's been a good day. So what I'm going to do is just jump straight into the comments. As I say, I've not just taken ones from mine, I've taken ones from Conor's and ones from Oscar's as well. Hopefully it'll run a bit more seamlessly. I've got them all screenshotted so we can get through them as quick as possible. There's quite a lot on there, as you'd expect. You know, there's a lot on there about Bailey. I know Oscar had comments about Bailey. I have, you know, and Conor touched on it briefly. What I do just want to say before I begin, a bit of a disclaimer. I like Bailey. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people were saying, you know, you're having a go and all that sort of stuff. That's not the case. I do like Bailey. He's done well up until this point. I just think, and this is a good thing. Like, at the end of the day, he hasn't been tested enough because our outfield 10 players have been doing so well. I just think sometimes his decision making and positioning for certain shots. If you look at the Birmingham's first goal, for example, I don't even know how that went in. He sort of flapped at it. Yesterday was a bit of a shit show as well in terms of his positioning. I just think if he was tested, we'd know more about him. I do think he's a good prospect, but then I question that to myself and I think, right, okay, is he really as good as we all think? Because we don't see enough of him in the game, and what we do see is some awesome distribution. I know Oscar doesn't agree with me in that respect, and that's why football's a game of opinions, man. Everyone's entitled to them. I just think Bailey's yet to be properly tested, and we'll know more when he gets properly tested. Just a bit of a disclaimer, because I know a lot of people weren't happy with the comments that I made. But it is what it is. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. We're all fans. We all pay our money. You know, you can say what you want, really. So I'm just going to jump straight in. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet, because it was a bit late going up, because he lives in Australia. So make sure you check out Conor's video. But the first comment, and I even texted him as well when I seen the comment, because I thought it was hilarious. He was talking about Barry Douglas. And he said basically the fact that we got him for $3 million, it gave him a boner. So I just thought that was class. Gary Keith goes on to say, boner for $3 million, laugh my ass off. Know what you mean about time differences. He's in New Zealand, been a Leeds fan since '74. Who else is there, man? Exactly. Leeds. He said, think we should keep Bailey in for now. Bielsa being El Loco may even sub him at half time or earlier. Great win for Wigan, on to West Brom, will be tough. Glad Dallas played well, hope he keeps it up. Thank you for your support, Gary, because I know, you know, like you say, if you're still following Leeds and you're further afield, expat or whatever you want, you know, I think it's top notch, man, because listen, a lot of people could go abroad and maybe not be involved as much. So for them that are not even in the country and commenting our videos, the guys from Argentina and the guys, you know, from the rest of South America, it's just top notch. So thanks for your comment, Gary Keith. And Conor, funny man, boner for $3 million, class. Stuart Cundell, what I've noticed a lot today as well, guys, which is quality. I don't know if you can see that. Nah, not really. Let's let it focus a little bit. Is the fact that you guys are interacting together. It's quality to see, rather than just one person making a comment. Yous are all getting involved together, so that's what we want, man. Let's keep that up, because like I say, it all comes down to opinions again, man, and it makes for a great read. So Stuart Cundall says, love your guys' videos, cheers pal. And passion for Leeds, we do have a lot of passion. We all do, man. You've got to do to follow this club. He says, do you think Alioski starts because he improves Douglas' defensive and offensive play, because he knows Alioski will work to help out? With Clark, he might get a bit isolated defensively. Just my opinion, keep up the great work, guys. And Paz Real goes on to say he agrees 100%. Alioski's defensive work is so important. Fantastic work rate. It gives Barry the opportunity to go forward. Listen, Alioski's done well of late, and I think you are right in what you're saying, lads. At the end of the day, Bielsa likes him, and he does run his socks off. That's one thing we will say about Alioski, and I'll always applaud him for that. You know, he runs his socks off from start to finish, and he's good defensively as well. You're right, man. He never leaves Barry isolated, as you both say, and he can make a challenge. Yes, at times, sometimes he makes silly challenges. The amount of times yesterday during the game where he's on the back of a player and the amount of fans just sort of screaming, no foul, because sometimes he just dives in and makes stupid challenges. But I do think there is a lot to be said for his work rate, and that's probably why Bielsa fancies him so much. Garcel Saya says, hi Joe, interesting on what you mentioned about Bailey Peacock Farrell, because my mate Sean, who was with Leeds as a goalkeeper in lower age groups in the 80s, has the exact same view as you. He's not a fan of BPF anyway, that's his personal opinion. I agree with you on the play from the back approach as it opposed to the pump we used to do. It's just so much joy to watch. It also frustrates the heck of opponents. West Brom next, bring it on, marching on together. And you're right, mate. I mean, listen, as an attacker, if you're being given the task of chasing down and pressing, if they're just going to knock it about you, you're going to lose. Like you're just going to get pissed off, right? I don't know the word I'm looking for. You're gonna stop. Like, towards the end of the game, it's going to be like, well, it's no fucking point in me running after this ball, because they're just going to knock it about me anyway. And it takes a guy with a lot of mental strength to do that all game, because I know if I was playing football and every time I went near the ball, they just knocked it round me, eventually I'd just be like, fuck this, it's pointless. So you are right. And it is amazing to watch. I said so yesterday in my videos. It's absolutely class to watch. Lewis, I know I met up with Lewis yesterday, seen me at the game. He's got a bit of an Instagram page going on as well, and he's asked us to go on and do a podcast, I think, on Instagram Live, so nice one, Lewis. Lewis says, BPF is a mixed bag. Distribution poor at times, but quality at other times, picking out players from nowhere and creating an opportunity. And that's what we were saying yesterday. I thought his distribution at times yesterday was class. The way he just pings it out with his left foot and it lands straight on Douglas or Dallas on the other side. But there is again then times when he hoots it out up in the air, and it gives time for an opposing player to come and close him down. And it's not ideal. So you are right. Sometimes it's just hit and miss, isn't it? But more hit than it is miss. He says the main thing I worry about is his positioning, not his shot stopping. Times he's made crucial serves when he's been in the right position. Yeah, probably right. Them snapshot decisions where it's coming at you quick, bang, save. Yeah, you don't have time to think. I think there is a lot to be said about that. When he has time to think, he makes wrong decisions, and that's all I was pointing out yesterday. He says he's been in the right position. However, he's too often out of position, allowing the opponent to have a pop-up goal, putting pressure on BPF. Can't see Blackman getting a look in, not unleashed until January when the FA Cup, and if he plays good then maybe he will get a shot, unless BPF makes big mistakes. Exactly, a lot of people are saying Blackman should start. I disagree with that. I don't think he's going to get a look in. Like you say, it'd take a howler from BPF to Blackman to replace him. He goes on to say though, Blackman should be quality like he was for Sheffield United. However, I do worry with them both being so young with no experience to guide them like a Rob Green in previous seasons. Yeah, Rob Green was class that year under Monk, gutted when he went. And Blackburn was quality for Sheffield United. I just think them 2 cup games that he had, his looked shaky. But like Conor said, it's just two cup games. You know what I mean? We haven't seen enough of him to yet pass judgment. Dilip Kedna, great to hear your comments after the game. Slightly worried about Premiership teams watching Roof and trying to get him. Let's just hope Otto get him to sign pen to paper and he stays. To be honest, I think he will, because Bielsa has changed him. Us fans love him and he stands a better chance of first team football with us. Totally agree. The only thing that worries me with Roof is he has no affinity towards Leeds, and he did take a bit of a battering over the years. That he's been with us. I remember times when he's give it all this after he's had a poor game and he comes on and scores. I think it was a Sheffield United last year where he did a shocker. Next game, I forget who it was, he scores and he's giving it this to the fans. Listen, I really love Roof and I hope he stays, but I think if a Prem team comes calling and he hasn't signed a new deal, we may lose him in January. So you're right, or get the checkbook out, Rads, get the checkbook out and get that lad signed up. Karen Casey, Joe, I agree with you about Bailey. Even when a ball over the defence and Cooper was screaming for him, he stayed on his line. Dodgy. Best wishes from Tony in Dublin, Ireland. You are right, mate. I think there was not only just Cooper, there was a few times Jansen was having a go. I know Jack, who was on the LS11 podcast with me, he's going to be doing a championship roundup on a Sunday coming soon, so make sure you watch out for that. But yeah, Jack noticed it as well. I remember we were having a chat during the game and we were saying, look, Pontus keeps having a go at him, Cooper had a go at him. So yeah, you can see that they'd lost a little bit of confidence in him yesterday for some of his decision making. But they were getting on at him, they were telling him, and listen, we won the game. But I do agree with you. That time when it went over the back, it was lucky Cooper got back, because, you know, they could have easily latched onto that through ball. Dr. Frost. See, Dr. Frost makes some very valid points. Dr. Frost makes some very stupid points. Just saying. Dr. Frost, on Oscar's video, says Phillips is overrated. That is crazy talk, Dr. Frost. I cannot believe you've made that statement. For me, he's been the standout player of the season. I think he's been absolutely epic, and the player that he once was and how he's come just shows what Bielsa's done to him. For me, KP is my favourite player. Won't have a bad word said about him. So to say he's overrated, it's crazy talk, Dr. Frost. He says he usually has a lot of space in the role he plays. Games he isn't given such space, he is nowhere near as good, but still an important player of the system we play. Yeah, but he makes that space, right? He makes that space for himself. He's the one who has to get into the positions to receive the ball. If you look at the way we were passing it out from the back yesterday, he would make sure he positioned himself to always be available. If he's not doing that and he doesn't receive the ball, then you can have a go. But he's always available. And trust me, listen, I played football not at a high level, but what I'm trying to say is I used to play fullback here. And I remember playing for my brother's team, and my brother would shout at me, get the ball, get the ball. And the reason I didn't get the ball, because I wasn't confident enough. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be confident to want to get on that ball. If I know there's a player near me, I'm thinking, fuck that, don't give it me, because I'm just oofing it. But I was a poor footballer, but do you see what I'm saying? I play with lads that are very confident on the ball and know that when they get the ball to feet, they'll be able to shift the body and pass it out and do the right things with it. Me, on the other hand, that wasn't my game, you know what I mean? And I know, listen, I played at a shit level, right? I played for my district, you know, once, Calderdale in Halifax, right? Once or twice. But what I'm saying is, you're saying he's overrated, but listen, it takes a lot for a guy of his age as well, in a fast-paced game, in a team, for Bielsa to even give him that confidence to say, you're that man who's going to pick it up from the back and take it out. To say he's overrated is crazy, Dr. Frost. Tiger Steel, we have no one to replace BPF. Blackman was awful in both cup games, agreed. Could buying a quality keeper be an option in January? I don't think so. I don't think it's something they're going to go after. Like I say, he's not getting tested enough, BPF, for us to even consider that. Thanks for your comment though, Tiger Steel. I think, let's say for example, listen, I'm happy for him not to get tested and have that question mark until we get to Prem. You know what I mean? And then we'll see how good he is. Here is Supernatural. He says, I totally agree with you about passing it around at the back and bringing pressure onto ourselves. It's hard to watch and can get frustrating at times. This is what I mean. And he says, my dad goes fucking nuts, but there's something in the air at Leeds right now. The style of play is seriously mesmerising at times. I commented on that and said, your dad will go wild because they're old-timers. All the old-timers that are near me, the old-timer that was near me yesterday who kept having a go at Cooper, even when he touched the ball, he didn't do no wrong. He'd touch the ball, he'd have a go. But listen, they're not used to that style of play. Those young uns, you know, even more so them that are younger than me, you know what I mean? I'm 30, so I'm not that young, but I'm used to that style of play. You see it more. You guys who are a lot younger, that's all you've probably seen, you know, when you see the likes of Barcelona and City and all these teams doing it. You know, but the old-timers are always going to hate it, man. But listen, be patient with it. We will make mistakes, as I said yesterday in our video. And there'll always be that chance where they could have hoofed it, and we'll always go back and say, he should have just hoofed it, he should have just hoofed it. But that's not about us. We're never going to do that. And when it comes off, it looks special. Thanks for your comment, Supernatural. And tell your dad to calm the fuck down. Tiger Steel again, fair play to Dallas. He did great today, in my opinion. When Wigan scored, I thought we were just playing for a draw, but great to see we came back and won. Yeah, Dallas was class. As I say yesterday, LUFC data had tweeted out that, you know, he'd had the second highest passing accuracy, most tackles won, and most touches on the ball, so that says a lot for Dallas. When he says we're just playing for a draw though, Tiger Steel, that's never the case, mate. I just think that's never going to happen with Bielsa. We could be playing fucking, I don't know, Barcelona, and we won't be playing for a draw, believe me. John Doe is back. I remember John Doe not too long ago told us that Bielsa should be off. So let's see what he's got to say this time. So he does agree with me regarding BPF. He makes too many mistakes. This is where I take a bit of umbrage with it. He says Bielsa's late subs were quite worrying as well. Why wait until the 90th minute? So during the game, I remember saying to Jack, saying, right, okay, let's bring a sub on now. Let's change it up. But then you analyse it and think, well, who can he bring on? Subs come on to affect the game. For me, yesterday, when we were 2-1 up, there's nothing that he could have done in that game to change it. You know, it wasn't as if the wingers were ineffective and you think, right, let's put Jack Clark on there and see if he can get some joy down one of the flanks. I don't think there was anything that he could have changed. And I think maybe the only decision to bring Shackleton for Click was just it was getting late in the game, let's use up a bit of time. But I genuinely think that there was no need for a sub, and I know that sounds strange because we're used to, you know, in English football seeing a lot of substitutions, but yesterday wasn't there any need for it. So for me, it wasn't a worry. Anything Bielsa does doesn't worry me. Listen, I was having a go at Dallas being right back, and look at yesterday's performance. Do you know what I mean? And Conor picked up in his videos yesterday. If he can continue that, then Ailing won't be as big of a miss. He does go on to say, apart from that though, it was a brilliant performance, even though I threw my iPad down the stairs after we conceded. I hope your iPad's alright, fella. And he says, great video and analysis as always, Joe. Thanks, John Doe. Philip Million, he says, great win for Leeds. Fantastic individual displays from KP, Roof, Click and Pablo, who is a joke at this level. Agreed. Watching that magician play is something special. Travelling from the northeast like yourself to Leeds games can be tiring, mind Joe. Philip, send me a message, mate. Whereabouts in the northeast are you travelling from? Do you go with a supporters group? Do you go to every away game? If you go to every away game, I want to jump in with you, mate. Alright, if you're driving. So give me a shout, Philip. Here again, there's quite a lot of interaction between you guys. So Doma starts with, completely disagree regarding BPF. It was a good free kick. His positioning was fine. Hardly any keepers saved that. Up and over the wall with pace and bend. I can't see it in my head now, but I'm sure it was round the wall. And I think his positioning was all wrong. But again, it's a game full of opinions. He says, you highlight the mistakes without mentioning the good stops he made. I don't. This is what I mean. This is why I wanted to say the disclaimer. I really like Bailey. He goes on to say, as young and inexperienced, his performances at York are completely irrelevant. I don't think they are, because the reason I mentioned the York one is he was tested and he conceded a lot, and some of them were shoddy goalkeeping, much like the Birmingham one. I just remember that first goal for them. I don't know what he was doing. He was just flapping at it. Also for the Liam Lawrence one as well. That was a top finish, but it should have been saved. So I went on to comment and said, far over. It was too far over for me, but it's a game full of opinions. Dr. Frost says, everything looks suspicious at that set piece. Not only BPF. All in all, he's doing an okay job though. Don't think Blackman will be better. He must be wondering why he came here. I know, yeah, I think Blackman probably thought he would have been first choice. And then, I can't see the name, but the other lad says, positioning fine, get some glasses, lad. Because I agree with you, mate. I think his positioning was all wrong. Stephen Hoy says, have to say, Joe, I think you should give Bailey a bit of leeway. The boy is still young and learning all the time. He has made mistakes, but he also has made some crucial saves this season. He supports Leeds and Northern Ireland, so I want to see Bailey do well, more than most. I just think he will come good in the end. Great vid as always, Mott. Yeah, again, I'm not, like, having a go. I'm just saying, because for me, he's been really good this season. I'm just saying, if he was tested more, would these sort of comments be coming out in support of Bailey? That's the point I'm trying to make. Because you can't really say he's an amazing GK, because at the end of the day he hasn't been tested enough. And let's say, for example, he was tested more often, would all these comments come out in support of him? Listen, I'm not having a go. That's what I just want to say. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I mean? And that's why we've all commented, so thanks very much. Zero Cool says, good win. Need to look at BPF. Still need a quality centre-back and a tall centre-forward. This I don't like. I've seen a lot of people mention this. Tall centre-forward. Fuck that, man. Listen, if you get a tall centre-forward in the ilk of Crouch, in these sort of players, Bielsa won't want that. I know he's had Llorente, yeah, but he's a different... Llorente's technical ability, yeah. I think when guys are thinking of tall centre-forward, you're thinking back to them championship days, or normal championship teams who just want to hoof it to the big man, plan B. We ain't going to have a plan B. We're planning all the way. Football wins all the time, and it doesn't matter the height. Listen, if we get a tall centre-forward, fine. It's all about his ability for me, technically, and his finishing. His height has nothing to do with it, and we don't need a tall centre-forward, in my opinion. Injuries say we need a quality centre-back, but I'm not so sure. I think they're doing great at the minute. If we don't have the injuries, I say no, 100%. We don't need another centre-back. In this moment in time, maybe. A lot of people have mentioned Hoof. Hoof is not suited to our style of play. He goes on to say, Zero Cool, need to start playing some of the younger players, bring them on if we are in front to give them experience. I think he is playing them. I think they're getting a lot more run out than what they would under Morse. I take a look at Borough, for example. A lot of my mates are calling out for Wing and Tavernier, these two young kids they've got to play. They never play. They make the bench now and again, and they kick off. So if we had a dinosaur like Pulis, I can guarantee they wouldn't even be getting a sniff. The fact Jamie Shackleton's close, and not only that Jamie Shackleton's close. He's playing him in different positions. Do you know what I mean? He's come in and played the holding. He was in the attacking mid yesterday. He's played at right back. Jack Clark's special. Do you know what I mean? But like someone said earlier on in the day, probably the reason he don't give Jack Clark so much of a run out is due to the fact that Alioski is so dependable and runs so much. But that will come with time in Jack Clark's game. Danny Winters says, we have now played most of the top 6 teams and rightly sit top of the league. A lot was made by Sky about Wigan missing players, nothing about our injuries. I think that the Wigan break 1-on-1 that ended up 1-on-7 with no Wigan player getting up in support said a lot about the team spirit of Leeds. My favourite moment of yesterday, and I know a lot's been made of it on Twitter and stuff, I think it was a lot of people's favourite moments. What I will say though, mate, in terms of Sky mentioning the Wigan, they had key players, Powell and Grigg, and that they offer so much to their side, whereas, for example, yesterday, Dallas replaced Ayling, and you wouldn't miss, you know, Ayling in that game. I think they don't have as many riches to pull up on that we have. And this will be your last comment. Again, mint fan interaction, got quite a lot of comments on here, so keep doing that, guys. So, Emmett Oliver says, I still expect us to collapse and finish 12th. Look what following LUFC does to me. Not this time, buddy. Definite top 6, 100%. We're not dropping out of the top 6. I think there's 5 points now between 1st and 7th. So it's a little bit of a gap, isn't it? And that's just going to continue to grow. Massive game against West Brom. If we can go into the national break having 2 away wins and basically 10 points out of the last 4, that's quality. And then we go into some more favourable games. Bristol City at home, I think, after the international break, which I fancy us in. They've been faltering of late. But after that comment, Defcon says, BL's a belief. If we can stay top 2 till New Year's Day, we can make this our season. Mott. Lee Marley says, I was 66 today, and I see a lot of similarity to Revy's early 60s Leeds team. Maybe only me can see that. A lot of young players getting better every game. They're becoming very hard to beat. Emmett Oliver, Lee Marley says, Emmett Oliver in response to Lee Marley says, great and mainly same players as last season. BL's a huge impact. And then Lee Marley says, have faith, Mr. Oliver. I remember watching the Leeds Liverpool Cup final and it got better after that. And that's your lot for today. Some mint comments in there, guys. And like I say, the best thing is when you're all interacting with each other. I love it, man. And make sure you comment in this video. And like I say, we've no game Tuesday, so we'll probably be getting our post. Next time you hear off me will probably be my pre-match for West Brom, which I can't wait for. Massive game. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the game, which I'm a little bit gutted about. Anyone wants to go, Philip Million, if you're going and I can get a spare, take me along with you, pal. Because that's going to be such a good game. I think we're gonna have so many opportunities in that game. That's what I mean. That's what I like, is when we play these sort of teams. You know, your Derby's, your Norwich, and look what we did to them, man. We put them to the sword, and we can do that as well against West Brom. Yes, they're going to be dangerous on the counter, and yes, they have Dwight Gale, who's awesome at this level. Jay Rodriguez, awesome at this level. And maybe BPF will get tested, and maybe I'll eat my words, and he has a man of the match performance. I don't know, but let's see. But that'll be the next time you hear from me. Make sure you comment on this video, comment on the pre-match video, and then you'll be chatting with Conor on Friday for Friday Night Football. Also, watch out for Oscar. He's going to be doing a regular little series now called All Leeds TV Investigates. Basically, what it is, he's going to pick a topic, both from past and current, and just dissect it and go through it. Because he likes doing all that analytical stuff, and he's very good at it. So make sure you watch that. And also, guys, yesterday there was some awesome chants, as per Leeds. We're mint away from home. We're mint at home, but away from home, it's a different beast. Some of the chants were epic yesterday. So make sure you watch Tasha's video, LUFC away days, as per. It always gets a lot of views, but watch it, because yesterday there was some quality chants. For those that are there, they'll know. There was the guy with the drum. He's only at the fucking drum. There was the lads with the flags. There were the Leeds fans in the home end that got let across to the away end, and we were singing, we're Leeds United, we'll sit where we want. So make sure you watch all that, man. We love your continued support. The content's getting more frequent and better. The guys are, we just love it, man. So thanks very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you on Thursday. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.